Hi, church family. If I asked you to picture a hero, what would you think of? Maybe someone super strong, maybe someone who sacrifices a lot, maybe someone who has a lot of resources. The culture's definition of a hero is oftentimes someone with status, power, wealth, or the ability to impact many people. One of the heroes of the faith, Paul, had none of those things. In fact, he lists off what he does have in 2 Corinthians 11, 24 through 26. It says, 5 different times the Jewish leaders gave me 39 lashes. 3 times I was beaten with rods. Once I was stoned. 3 times I was shipwrecked. Once I spent a whole night and a day adrift at sea. I have traveled on many long journeys. I have faced danger from rivers and robbers. I have faced danger from my own people, the Jews, as well as from the Gentiles. I have faced danger in the cities, in the deserts, and on the seas. And I have faced danger from men who claim to be believers, but are not. After enduring all of these things and more, no one would maybe say that Paul was a hero. In fact, he was often a victim in prison, dirty, and worn down. However, 2,000 years later, his writings are now translated into thousands of different languages, read across continents, and preached weekly. We view Paul as a mighty man of God who was unashamed to speak the truth in the midst of extreme persecution. Later in 2 Corinthians 12, Paul says, "So now I am glad to boast about my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ can work through me. That's why I take pleasure in my weaknesses and in the insults, hardships, persecutions, and troubles that I suffer for Christ. For when I am weak, then I am strong." Paul is a great hero of the faith. He does not have all the wealth and resources in the world, but he uses the giftings and anointings from God to preach the gospel, to encourage others, to be humble in actions and words, acknowledging that God is at work and he is the willing vessel for God to use his weaknesses and imperfections for the glory of heaven. Today, what has God gifted and anointed you to do? Have you been doing it with a humble attitude? How have you been stewarding the giftings from God? You never know the impact your faith now can have on future generations later. God desires to use you.